Shit, I heard this intro like 10 times now. I mean, this is the first take, guys. We don't mess up here. We only do everything on the first take.
That's right.
Waiting for that beat to drop, bro. Yeah. There it is. Oh, it's building. The song's building. Look at you. You are a drummer, bro. There it is, man. What up, people? Welcome back to the Dreams to Reality podcast. I'm your host, Anibal Rodriguez, and my right-hand man, Mr. Christopher Lopez, is actually out today. He's fighting for his life. Make sure you guys say a prayer for him. He's got the shingles, the chicken pox, but he'll be back next week, better than ever. Today, we got an amazing show for you guys. We have a really, really amazing guest. I'm super excited to have him on today. I've been watching him grow for many years. He's actually been an inspiration for me when it comes to music, so I'm very grateful to have him here. He's a professional drummer, professional musician, a songwriter out of Echo Park, California. He's been quoted to be one of the best drummers in the world, and I can attest to that. He's actually the touring and recording drummer for the world-famous punk band, The Dickies. He's also played for The Adolescents, D.I., C.J. Ramone, and of course, one of my favorite bands, Jambi. Now, he's also an endorsed musician for Yamaha, for Remo Drums, and for Vader Percussion. He's a graduate of the world-famous Musicians Institute with a degree in performance percussion. This guy's traveled the world. He's lived the rock star life. He's an amazing father, husband, awesome friend, awesome guy. Please help me welcome the great Adam Gomez. Welcome, brother. Welcome. That was pretty nice, right? Yeah. That was a great intro, dude.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
No, but I really am grateful to have you here, man. Haven't seen you in quite some time. How long has it been, by the way, since the last time I saw you? It's been gotta be over 10 years, huh?
Yeah, at least.
The first thing I said when I saw you, as you were walking up, I was like, damn, bro, you don't age. You look exactly the same from the first time I met you. Like, your skin's perfect. What is it, man?
Out of everything we talk about today,
yeah,
and any compliment you may give me, that topped it all right there.
There you go, bro. There you go.
I'm
I called you
something.
the best drummer in the world, and you prefer being you don't age.
Yeah. I'll take that
over being the best drummer.
Other one.
That's awesome, man. So tell me a little bit of what's going on in your life right now, dude.
Right now, I'm at home with Tootsie, which is my little dog.
Oh, my God.
And my wife and daughter are out of state.
What kind of dog do you have? Just so you know, I am a huge dog lover. Okay. Like half of my page is just cute puppies and stuff. Okay. Yeah. What type of dog is it?
Good. She's a terrier mix.
Oh, that's
so
cute.
She's small. She's probably like 14 pounds.
Oh, okay.
13, 14 pounds. And she's small.
Yeah.
She's cute. She's actually a, let's see, where is she from? She's from Juarez. She's a Juarez rescue dog.
Damn. How many scars does she have?
She's got a few. How'd you know?
Hey, bro, I lived in El Paso, Texas for a couple of years. I actually graduated high school, America's high school, for all you people that know what's up. So I lived, right next to Juarez, and I used to party in Juarez back then.
Okay.
I don't party in Juarez anymore. It's very dangerous.
This
was before the big drug war that was going on. It was back like in 2006, 2005 when I used to live out there. But yeah, Juarez, at that time, it was during the Iraq War. There was actually more casualties and more deaths in Juarez on a daily basis than there were in Iraq.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a crazy time. It's not as bad right now as it was before. But your dog is probably a gangster, just so you know.
Well, I'll tell you a short story before we move on.
Yeah.
We're on puppies and gangsters. My wife was telling me a story before she brought her home, because my wife grew up in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and when she went to, I think, college, that's when she kind of partied in Juarez. But she spent her majority of her life down in the Southwest. So anyway, when she picked up the dog, they were all hanging out at my mother-in-law's house, and I think Tootsie, our dog, snatched my mother-in-law's purse, like grabbed it with her and walked away.
She would, bro.
And then we're like, see, we knew she was part of the cartel. We just knew it.
Oh my God.
Which is maybe true.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah.
She's infiltrated now.
Yeah.
She's in your home. You go home today, she stole your wallet. She's got a little stash of all the bones she's taking.
I'm going to wake up from a nap this weekend and I'm going to have a gun pointed to my head, and it's going to be Tootsie. Gun pointed to my head. Nice,
man. How's your music career coming along? What are you focusing on right now?
Right now I'm focusing, at least myself, I'm focusing on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
So that one's called Drum Through Driving.
Yeah, dude. I've seen probably about 5 or 6 of your videos. Like, I already know you as an amazing drummer, and we have the very, very similar taste in music. You're actually one of my inspirations as a kid to want to become a musician, because for people that don't know, I was in a band with actually a sibling of one of the members in your band, Jambi. So Aaron Rizzo was the bass player in your band, and you guys used to practice out of his house in his garage, and his little brother Johnny was the bass player in my band, and you guys were like amazing, and we were just like barely starting off. Like, we just somehow come up like some shitty instruments that we found,
And that was with Kevin, right?
No, at that time it was. I didn't start playing with Kevin till a couple of years later.
Okay.
At that time, we had barely started playing, and I think Johnny, me, Randy Shavers, Randy Rizzo actually too, the other brother of Aaron, was the singer in our band, and we just wanted to emulate you guys. We saw you guys performing, we saw you guys playing, we loved your music, we loved your energy. Yeah, you guys had a very unique look and a very unique sound that really caught our attention. And, I looked up to you a lot, even though at the time I was a guitar player and you were a drummer. Like, when you see talent, you can appreciate it, So even at that point, we were kids, and this was before you went to the Musician Institute. You were already ahead of the game when it came to like drumming, So I did want to find out, because I don't really know much of your history of how you got into music. So tell me a little bit about, how you got into drumming, how you got into metal, punk, that whole genre of music, and what inspired you to want to follow this path?
Well, before we move on with that, I just want to say what you said about being inspired.
Yeah.
I've told people this ever since I started playing in bands and playing live. No matter what comes of it, we always have like a certain journey and a certain path we want to get to the end of, right? With a career and music and art. But whatever ended up coming with my path, it was always the goal to reach someone that way, to inspire somebody and then be like, man, I heard Jambi, or I heard, whatever band I was in creating stuff, and be like, that like made me want to like write something new of my own and do this and that. And that's the bottom line for me. So thank you, man. That means a lot.
So inspiring others to want to express themselves musically was your one of your major motivations of what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's a big thing that you say, because most people that want to get into music, they see an artist, they see a rapper, they see a guitar player, they see a drummer. They see them being successful on music videos, getting all the beautiful women and having all the nice fancy cars and having the mansions. Their passion behind it is not the music and the inspiration. It's, the money that they're going to get, the fame, the accolades. And they don't really understand that if you don't have a passion like you do, they're probably not going to get there, because it's not an easy one-way track to get to, success in music. And I know this because I was a musician, for many years, and it has a lot of struggles, to make it big in the music industry, which is something that I want to talk about as well.
Yes, sir.
But I can remember as a little kid, dude, like, just music always moved me, and I wanted to like create, and like I heard all these beautiful sounds in my head, and I remember like I begged my mom, please buy me a guitar, and she wouldn't buy me one for years. And then finally she's like, I remember this. It was like, I think I was like 15. And she's like, look, I'm going to buy you a guitar for your birthday, but this is the last gift I'm going to ever buy you for the rest of your life. And I was like, I don't care. I was like, give me that. I'll take it. She took me to Guitar Center. I picked the guitar that I wanted. I bought it, and she never bought me another gift in my life. Just kidding.
Well, she got me for
she got me little socks and stuff. You know, I'm talking like an expensive.
Yeah. Once you got the guitar, it's like, okay, you're a big boy. You're gonna get underwear and socks now.
Yeah, but I would have done it anyway. I don't give. I didn't care at the time. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I remember grabbing the guitar and all that beautiful music in my head and playing. I was like, shit, no beautiful music's coming out. It all sounds like crap. My fingers were hurting. I couldn't play anything. I was like, damn. And most people at that point quit. And there's millions and millions of dusty drums and dusty guitars, rusty strings in people's garages of people that had all these envisions in their head of being musicians and playing, but they didn't have that passion that you have, So I respect that.
Well, I would say, the passion I have, that was, you basically summed it up, having that feeling of just wanting to create something that way out of, pulling it out of your brain, pulling it out of your soul or your heart and making something and trying to bring it out into the world.
Yeah.
And have it a piece of art, because basically, music is just another form of art. And, in that sense, we are artists, and you're absolutely right that it's not easy. Like even with me, I found out, not the hard way, but just living life and going through the process, is there's a love and hate with it. Even if you have a passion for it, what you don't want to do is romanticize that overly.
Yeah.
You can accept that, having a passion for something is special because it is, but if you over romanticize it, you're going to think that having a passion for something, you're going to love it always. And I don't think that's true for most artists.
It's like a relationship, bro.
Yeah.
You're like, I love you right now, but sometimes we're gonna get upset at each other.
Exactly.
We're gonna figure it out.
And when you're committed, you're gonna go through those rough times, man. Yeah. And you have to live it, and you have to get through it. And at the end, it's really just about, am I still here?
Yeah.
Am I still here on this journey? It's like, I am.
Yeah.
Like when I went to MI, it was tough, man. It felt like a boot camp for musicians. And it was, I guess I wouldn't say it's an expensive school.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
But
is the dropout rate pretty high still, even though it's that expensive?
I don't know. But the thing is that it was too much for me and my family. Yeah. My family, when I told my mom and dad about it, they're like, oh, sorry, we don't got money for that, but we'll sign whatever you need us to sign. If you need us to sign papers. I was like, and I thought about it. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So we signed whatever we needed to sign. I did whatever I had to do to get into that school.
Yeah.
And then worried about it later to worry about financials. But within the first 2 weeks, almost in every class I was in, at least a quarter to half of the students would drop because they realized quickly, oh, this is not a school to learn how to be a rock star.
Yeah.
This is a school. This is like real deal shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm out.
Yeah. Like I just came here to look cool and have the, say that I went to Musicians Institute.
Yeah.
Not to actually learn
there must be some kind of secret that they're going to teach us on how to be a rock star. It's like, nope. They're going to teach you how to play your instrument. Yeah.
Dude, that's something that I really wanted to dive deep in with you is, you were already a drummer when you went to the Musicians Institute. Like myself, I've never had a guitar lesson in my life. I've never had professional lessons, anything like that. The only lessons that I've had are, from other musicians that I'm just watching them play and I'm like, hey, how'd you do that? Or how'd you learn this? I learned guitar tabs and I just pretty much like try to emulate other musicians. So music is definitely an art, but there is a science behind it as well too, and there's many famous musicians, that, say, you learn the science, but then you forget that shit and you just play what's to your heart, but I really do feel that if I would have actually gotten some professional lessons, I would have been a way better musician to be able to compose a piece of music, which is a complete, piece of art, instead I could just play a bunch of cool solos and write a bunch of cool riffs, but composing a piece of music is a whole nother ballpark, and to be able to create an album and to be able to create a style that, like, when you hear certain bands, certain musicians, it's them. You don't even need to see their face. You don't need to know anything. You just know like, oh, that's Jimi Hendrix. I can hear his guitar. You know, I don't even hear his voice.
Right.
You know, you hear John Bonham, like, you know, I could tell that's him drumming. Nobody drums like him. You know, there's other people that could play his songs, but they don't sound like him.
You instantly know it's not him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, to me, that's the art, that you created your own style. But at the same time, you're influenced and you're inspired by people before you. You know, so myself as a kid, I remember my dad is a metalhead. You know, he's like from Mexico too, from Juarez. Okay. But he was a metalhead, so he had a vinyl collection of all these classic rock bands. You know, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, you know, Pink Floyd, all that stuff. And I remember as a little kid, my parents' bed frame was the record player. So in the middle was like this big wooden box. And you would open it up and you would put the record in the middle.
That's nuts,
and you
dude.
put the little needle and you would play it.
Yeah.
And then the sides were the speakers. And it was actually pretty good sound for like a old ass piece
That's rad.
of furniture. I must have been like 5 years old, dude. I remember like grabbing the vinyl records, putting them there and just listening to Black Sabbath. Just like the first 5 minutes is just rain and bells, ding, and then dun, dun. Like I heard that first heavy riff, I was like, "Oh my god, I love this!" And he had like a VHS collection of like, you know, The Song Remains the Same, Led Zeppelin.
I knew you were going to say that.
I've seen that movie so many times, dude.
I knew that was going to be the first thing.
I was so creeped out the first time I saw that movie, like in the beginning with the killings and stuff.
Yeah, the gangster.
Yeah, the gangster stuff. I was so creeped out, but
it almost doesn't fit.
Yeah, it does.
But it's rad, yeah.
But like every time, like I would see Jimmy Page like in his guitar solo, I was like, oh my god, I want to do that. That was my first inspiration. And then when I started listening to different bands, I wanted to kind of recreate what they were doing, but with my own style, you know, and that's how I kind of developed my own style of playing, you know. So what was your coming to when it comes to music? Like, who were the first couple bands you listened to or musicians that you heard that kind of inspired you to want to get into music?
Well, those are two different questions. I'd say those are two different levels. So the first music I can remember hearing, Lionel Richie and Madonna on vinyl.
Really?
Yeah.
And crazy.
And I think that was just the first time that I just paid attention to music. And I don't even think it had anything to do with them as artists or their sound. It just had to do with the fact that where I was at, where my brain was at that point in time when I was a little toddler.
Yeah.
And that's really all it was. And I just remember just sitting there and just actually listening and soaking it in and be like,
yeah,
what the fuck? just taking it all in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what inspired me though to start thinking about making music is that's a different one. There's another level to that too, because it's not just being inspired to be a musician or to write. Then for me, there's also deciding to, you know, choosing your one instrument, which was drums for me.
Yeah.
So when I chose to do drums, it was because of Megadeth.
Oh, hell yeah, bro.
It was Nick Menza for the most part.
Oh, I freaking love Nick Menza, man.
Yeah,
rest in peace.
He is the dude that made me decide I want to do that.
No way.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite guitar players of all time are Dave Mustaine and Marty Freeman.
Nice.
You know, and Nick Menza is actually one of my top drummers as well. But that's actually awesome because I love Megadeth. And most people are like, oh, I love Metallica, and they forget about Megadeth. But to me, they were musically more talented. You know?
Yeah. And for me, that, like, if we had a conversation about that, I don't know how to I wouldn't know how to decide because on the facade of things, when at a first listen, I would say the same thing.
Yeah. Although I don't like Dave Mustaine's voice, I will say that. Yeah, if they had a better singer, they probably would have got more accolades.
I do love it just because it's just a part of what it is. But you know, sometimes
I don't think anybody else could have sang for Megadeth.
No,
I don't think anybody else could.
That's kind of what I mean.
So yeah, I know what you're saying. But still, he doesn't have the best voice.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is that sometimes people will make fun of me for liking Megadeth, and they'll make fun of
Same here, bro.
Bass, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. It does sound funny.
Yeah.
I still love it. I mean, what do you want me to tell you?
I don't think I would like listen to them without another singer. Well, I mean, with another singer.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, plus he's a megalomaniac. You don't think he would let anybody else take over.
No, but there's no way you can replace that voice,
yeah,
and slap something different on Megadeth. You can't do that.
So listening to Megadeth and specifically the drumming was what made you make the decision that that's your weapon. That's what you choose to do. I want to be a drummer.
Yeah. And it was mostly through my brother. He was a little older than he is a little older than I am. He's like 3.5 years older. And he had a Megadeth VHS, and it was called Rust in Pieces.
Oh, okay.
In relative to Rust in Peace, the record.
Was it a live recording, or was it like a...
No. So what it was a collection of music videos.
Oh, okay.
So it was all just music videos, and it was right before, right after Peace Cells. It was right after Rust in Peace, but it was right before Countdown to Extinction.
Yeah.
So I had all the videos they had made aside from, anything on that newer album.
Yeah.
And just watching those videos, man. And watching, I think it was mostly like Hangar 18 and Holy Wars.
Yeah, Holy Wars is probably that one and Tornado Souls, those are probably my two favorite Megadeth songs.
I hear you on that.
Yeah.
I hear on that. But the videos that were on there were, there was no Tornado of Souls video, which, still would have been a game changer for me. But it was Holy Wars and Hangar 18 that I watched when I watched Nick Menza drum, and I'm just like, wow, man, that's what I want to do. That just looks too fun, man.
Yeah. He actually passed away playing the drums live on a concert. I guess you can say he died doing what he loved.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I've met him I've run into him a couple times.
Oh, really?
And the first time I met him, I understood the meaning of don't meet your heroes. Yeah,
he's kind of a dark individual. He was wrapped up in a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
And well, they all were back then, but he didn't get out of it. It was the problem. Did you as a because you play with some major bands, dude, and in the punk scene, which is infamously known for their drug abuse and alcohol abuse, and
yes, sir.
And just knowing musicians, they are artists, and artists always tend to have problems with addiction. And is that something that you've kind of witnessed and come across? And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I guess at my age, it's not so much something that I've come across with myself personally. Like by the time I was 19 or by the time I was old enough to drink, I was kind of done drinking.
So you started early, huh?
So I started early, which I shouldn't have, because your brain is still growing. That's one of the worst things you can do is stunt your brain of growth. So excuse me if I'm stuttering and losing my words from time to time. But by the time I was 21, I was done, overdoing anything.
Yeah.
I was really done doing any drug. And for the most part, even alcohol. I had stopped drinking anything for quite a while, for some years. But as far as experiencing things around me, artists, it just seems like, not to say that all artists are like geniuses or anything, but it's more along the lines of, I think artists are always walking a tightrope between sanity and insanity. and I guess it just comes with the territory, but that's why I can kind of understand how a lot of people or artists or musicians fall into that drug pit.
What do you mean by fighting between sanity and insanity?
Well, I think since artists have somewhat of a different mind, they work slightly differently than majority of other people. Let's say that just people that are not artistic, right?
Yeah.
There's always stuff going on in your brain, and it's since it's an artistic thing, it kind of draws you away from reality after a little while, and you have to balance that out within yourself.
Yeah, it's crazy that you mentioned that, because I've told many people before, like I think I have like autism or something, because I become obsessed with certain things, and that's like the only thing I can think about and want to do. And I do get lost in certain subjects, but at the same time, it's allowed me I can learn very, very fast. Like once I picked up the guitar and it sounded like crap, I played nonstop for like, hours and hours and hours every day.
That's how you do it.
And that's all I could think about until I got good, and I got good really fast. I picked up the drums. I learned the drums quick. I can play the bass too. I started singing. Like I picked up I didn't start, doing photography, videography, but like 7 months ago. And I caught on very quickly. And I'm kind of a renaissance man where I could do a lot of things. But the problem that I have is that my brain, it never stops. Like it's constantly thinking about different stuff.
I'm telling you.
And because of that, I my whole life, I've suffered with social anxiety, with depression, panic disorder, to the point where I had to get on like medication and stuff because I'm constantly thinking, and I think, I would say a lot of artists and musicians kind of tend to have those issues, so I guess it makes sense what you're saying now.
And that's just, how I view it. I just think in general, artists walk a tightrope.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people can relate to that, but it just, to me, that's what shows like when you see a lot of drug use within the music community, I think that's the evidence that kind of shows, there's some shit going on with this dude or this, this girl.
But it's always the most damaged musicians that write the best music, bro.
I hear you. I would debate that in a way, but I also agree.
Yeah.
And some of the MI teachers and instructors would say, they would talk about that, like with Ellis and Chains and Jimmy, and they're kind of like, they were abusing stuff and they wrote some of the best music, in rock history.
Right.
But how much more could they have made if they didn't die?
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of it that way. They probably could have written a lot more. They could have evolved. I think the problem is where people stop evolving and stop trying to. They don't heal, I think we all have some kind of trauma that, has gotten us to that point where we're seeking a way to express either our pain or whatever it is. And, some people choose music, other people choose other ways to express their emotions and express their thoughts and their feelings. But they never really sit down and really try to understand where that comes from and try to heal. And unfortunately, they got wrapped up in drugs and alcohol to kind of numb the pain and not to think about certain things. And then they become addicted and then they die, and then they never were able to get to their best self. So for our audience out there, it's a key thing to learn is in order for you to be successful in whatever chosen path you choose, like you said earlier today, am I still here? Am I still evolving? Am I growing? Am I still getting better? I know myself, I constantly want to get better in everything I do. I've been playing the guitar for, many years and I still practice and I still want to get better. Do you feel you're the same when it comes to drumming? Are you still trying to evolve? Is that something that is common within the, drum world, or do you think people get to a certain point and they're like, that's it, this is just my style, this is just what I play and this is what I do?
I think you got a mixed bag, with if you collectively talk to a lot of drummers. But for me personally, I think it's broken up into different compartments, I guess you can say, if you will. Like, I think I'm evolving in certain ways and stagnating in certain ways, and it's not, but it's not by choice. It's just lack of action.
Yeah.
Like now that I'm a family man as well, I focus more on, okay, when is the tour? When are the shows? When do I need to be home?
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And it's a juggling game at that point. And some musicians can still, aside from all that, or in addition to all that, they can still find time to evolve maybe technically with their drumming.
Yeah.
Or maybe different aspects. Like for me, I kind of feel like because of my schooling and because of some of the genres that I got into there and learned a different touch, like for instance, like doing R&B style drumming and stuff like that. I couldn't do that before. So there was a big evolution, within myself and within my style through that school. But, and even with jazz, but now that I haven't applied it, it's withered up. It's not dead.
It's like a muscle.
It's just like a muscle.
It atrophies. I can't even remember.
I'm not sure.
It withers away.
It withers away.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't disappear.
Yeah.
You know, it's in you, you know, and it's still in me, but it's those different, you know, levels or those different pockets of, okay, where am I going to evolve? What can I touch on right now? Where can what can I wake back up? You know?
Yeah.
And you're just kind of looking in your brain like, do I need to learn? Do I need to get my jazz chops back up?
Yeah.
No, I don't, because I don't have anything coming up with that. You know what I mean? Or, you know, that kind of thing. But with Dickies, I don't know exactly how or why people kind of sometimes single me out as a great drummer compared to the other punk drummers.
Yeah.
But I know how I see it when I drum. And even though I'm playing punk rock, I still bring in an element of, and this sounds weird, it may not make sense, but I still bring in this element of R&B style. And not so much in the velocity and the way I hit, but because of the fact that when you have classic R&B and stuff like that, and you're a drummer, you'll understand this. A lot of drums, most drums for R&B and stuff like that, they're playing slightly behind the beat.
Yeah.
And that to me is a great way to find and dig really deep into that groove that you're playing, even if it's a punk rock beat.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think from my opinion and my experience is most punk drummers, you know, are not, I don't want to diminish punk drummers or anything like that, but they get just stuck in that one genre and they don't really expand. And they're not as precise, I would say, than other genres of music. You know, like you have like super, super technical, you know, drummers when it comes to like jazz, you know, metal, like all these really, really technical style of drumming. And punk can be very technical too, but I feel a lot of the times the punk drummers, they kind of just, this is just what I play and that's it, you know? And I think you having that background with everything that you play makes you stand out more than anything. Like, damn, this guy's different, but at the same time, he's playing this music like perfectly, you know?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, you know, with punk, it's almost supposed to be like, well, you're not supposed to be put in a box. You know, that's kind of the concept of it in a way. But then, yeah, you end up getting stuck in a box, you know, especially as a drummer. And you know, that's okay. But, you know, in a way, I think you have a point, you know?
Yeah. Just for the record, I didn't call punk drummers shit.
No. But you know, to touch on that, you know, there are a lot of punk musicians that go, you know, use the ethos of, it's just punk rock, dude.
Yeah, they just play,
you know, it doesn't matter, you know,
fast
and that's okay. Yeah. I mean, they can feel that way and play that way if they like, obviously, you know what I mean? But we're not all like that. But
it's like, it's more image than talent.
Yeah, somewhat. Or it's more of the, like, the overall vibe and attitude of it and
aggression.
But people, you know, musicians got to remember and step back. It's like punk doesn't have to be this one vibe. It doesn't have to be this one way of thinking.
Yeah.
That was kind of not the point of it in the first place.
Yeah.
Was to get stuck in one little box. You know?
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, with me, with my punk style, I guess I do try and bring in like an R&B vibe in a way.
Yeah.
Like I try and dig deep to find the groove. And for me, for the other drummers out there, the way I see it is all my limbs aren't playing behind the beat. It's more so my bass drum. So even though I'm locking in with the bass player and I'm being very conscious of what he's playing, like other bands that are not punk bands usually do, right?
Yeah.
Like R&B bands and funk bands, they're very connected to the bass player.
Yeah.
I take that same approach. Okay. And at the same time, I'm conscious of where my foot bass drum placement is.
Oh,
and
wow.
I actually do try and bring that a little bit behind the beat.
And you're conscious of it as you're playing.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's very hard to do, actually.
Yeah, and you know, and it takes practice. Obviously, you know, when I started learning about that, which I had no idea.
Who taught you that?
I would say specifically, I mean, every instructor basically at MI, but more specifically, Donnie Grundler. He was an instructor there and became head of curriculum, I think, and then ended up, you know, kind of rising in ranks there at MI. And then he was actually a sub drummer for the guys from the Motown records.
Oh, okay.
And it was just this one band.
So he's like a jazz, R&B, funk?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And also Chuck Silverman. Chuck Silverman, rest in peace as well. He taught me how to develop the R&B touch.
Yeah.
Because he grew up with that. He was really big on Afro-Cuban, so he taught me some of that too. And that's awesome. Kind of like mandatory when you're in the drum program there.
Yeah.
But he really helped me develop that touch. So
yeah, one of the main subjects that we talk a lot on our podcast is mentorship. Having someone that has gone through their journey and has gained a plethora of wisdom. And I see you as someone that's in that realm now. But when you were first starting off, obviously, seeking these people, you paid for the Musicians Institute for the college to be able to connect to these mentors and these elite drummers.
Still paying for it.
Oh my God!
By the way.
But I thought you're a rich and famous drummer.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's just for the aspiring drummers and musicians out there. Yeah. I'm still paying for it. So
it's all good, bro.
Yeah, don't let that scare you.
I'm still paying for all of my gear too.
Exactly. Do you guys want to pay for your education in something that you love to do, or do you just want to pay a higher car bill for status?
Yeah,
it's up to you.
Yeah.
It's your choice.
You have the ability to choose your path.
Yeah. And you can do both depending on your path. But
yeah. So so mentorship is a huge thing we talk about, finding these people that can guide you and give you new insight to allow you to express yourself creatively, or to help you accomplish whatever your goal is. So I know you talk about them. What was the because like most people think, okay, I go to Musicians Institute and then I'm just going to play for a famous band and then I'm good. Luckily that did happen for you.
Well, at the same time, yeah, I mean, that's your dream.
Yeah.
Right. That's your dream.
You're living the dream, bro.
And as you're going to school there, you're slowly turning it into a goal. Yeah. Right. But even then, it's still a process. You're still going through the process. You know what I mean? Like when right outside of MI, I joined Bloodhook, which was a great band. Yeah. They were a hardworking band, but it's not like, they were historically, known within the punk community, the Dickies or Adolescents or anything. They were a newer band. They were younger. They were, basically my age. So, it took us getting deep into that before other things came along.
Yeah, there's actually a very infamous story of how you got that gig, bro. So for the people that don't know, they auditioned you, and they pretty much told you have one day to learn the full album, which is not an easy thing to do. And
I think it was like 10 tracks.
Oh shit! And this was to tour you were auditioning to be the touring drummer for them.
Yes, or to really just join the band. But they had a tour coming up.
Oh my God! And this was
approaching.
A European tour, right?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. So a lot of pressure, and you nailed it, bro. You learned the whole album in 24 hours in one day. When in the next day you nailed it, you got the position. And I was listening to one of your interviews that you had, and actually I wrote down the quote because it's beautifully said. And any entrepreneur or person that's trying to accomplish something can learn from this. When they asked you, can you learn the whole thing in one day? You just said yes. And the quote is, as a professional drummer, you say yes now and figure it out later. And that's the same thing that I do. And someone tells me like, hey, can you shoot this? Can you shoot that? I'm like, yeah. Like, have you done that before? Like, no, but I'll figure it out.
Exactly.
And then you have to, in order to do that, you have to have a huge belief in yourself, and to build that belief, it takes time, it takes effort. And I can put myself in your shoes and know why you think that way, because at that point you had been drumming for years. You already knew your skill. You had graduated from, Musicians Institute. You had all of the knowledge, but a lot of times people still doubt themselves. They'll be like, no, I probably can't do that, and then they miss out on a huge opportunity, But I did want to ask you, because in that interview you said that, when you nailed that job, you learned the whole album in one day, and then pretty much you went on tour in Europe. Right after that, you said that you actually spent more money than you made.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a money-making tour,
Yeah.
And really because of the fact that at that point I was still at my parents' house. You know what I mean? So I had the luxury or I had the luxury of being able to do that, and that not everyone has that. And I get that, but I had the chance to get something important under my belt. And to me, that was important, to hook up with those guys and do that tour, and just make it happen and then keep going from there.
Yeah.
You have to start somewhere, and your starting line is not going to be as glamorous as your finish line. So you always have to remember that.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started my photography business, I had to pretty much do stuff for free, or almost nothing. And I was already thousands of dollars in debt, and same thing for a musician. You got to buy your equipment. You got to buy your tickets here, your tickets there. It's not all going to happen right away, but they're all stepping stones to what's to come, and as long as you continue to persevere and pursue your passion, I think ultimately, not only will you find success, but you'll find true meaning and happiness, but when you kind of veer from that, you tend to become kind of bitter and an angry person because you're not following what you believe in and what you have a passion for. And there's a lot of people, unfortunately, that are, doing things that they don't like, they don't want. And it's very easy to get stuck or trapped in a certain position where, damn, now you're married, you got kids, you got bills, you got this, you got that. And like you said, you were living at your parents at the time, but if you're with your wife and you have your kid, you have to feed them. And like, I can't do this. I have to work, I have to provide for my family. Yeah. So whatever anyone out there is looking to get into, do it now, don't wait.
Yeah. Do it now, man. You can be scared, but do it anyway.
Yeah.
Be scared. Be afraid that you're going to fail if you want, but just do it, man.
Yeah.
Don't, you can be afraid, but don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest lesson you learned, on your journey, your drumming journey?
I would say career-wise, the thing that holds most value in having a career, at least in the music industry, because that's my experience, is make friends.
Yeah.
Talk to people, talk to other musicians, and just be cool with them, man. Be you and let them be themselves and have fun when you see them and talk to them and just make friends, man. And as simple as that sounds, that has such value, and trust me. Yeah. That's how I got most of my gigs. And
yeah, I can honestly say that I've never heard anything bad about you from anyone. And anytime anyone brings you up, he's a great guy.
That's
nice
cool,
guy.
But isn't that kind of a bad sign, right? Something's really wrong.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well,
I'm just saying from my perspective.
I hear you.
Maybe you're an asshole to other people and I just haven't talked to them yet.
Absolutely. I'm kidding. I don't know. Maybe I am and I don't know it. I don't know.
But you're talking about networking. You're talking about networking.
Yes, basically.
And that is such an important thing for long-term success is having a network of people that not only like you, trust you, but believe in you and support you.
Yes, but there's something really important about this word networking. Mm-hmm. So that's important. Networking is obviously part of having a career, especially when you're an artist on your own, right?
Yeah.
But don't kiss anybody's ass.
Yeah.
Do not do that. I'm telling you, because
other people, just a fan.
Yeah, you're just a fan, which is fine, but other people can sense that, man. You know what I mean? And yeah, they know that you're nice, but they also know, he's just kind of
just trying to be a kiss ass.
Wasn't really like real. I don't really know him because all I saw was him being extra nice for no reason or whatever. So don't kiss anyone's ass. Be the real you.
Yeah, be genuine.
Be genuine. Show people your good side, your real good side. Right. That's key. So don't kiss people's asses. And when you start making friends, even though we all know that that's part of networking, don't see their friendship as part of just your networking. See them first and foremost as your buddy, as some dude or boyfriend, girlfriend, as in friends that you're just going to chat with just because you want to.
Right.
And that has to be real in order for anything real to come to you.
Yeah.
you may get, you know, an opportunity here and there over the years if you're just kind of kissing everyone's ass and it's all it's all a facade. You know, it may happen, and I get that. You know, I get that that's hard to navigate. You know, when you feel pressured to build your career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I'm just kind of giving you know, these youngsters the answer now, instead of living through it and realizing, fuck, man, I needed to be more. I should have just been more real with everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
really the way to go, because honestly, that's really the only way I got gigs. Like the blood hook thing, that was basically sheer, you know, having the tools, which was the skill set to make it happen. Yes, that was part of the beginning. But from then on, I could have been a total, you know, jerk and very pompous, and wouldn't have gone anywhere. And I probably wouldn't even have known why. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think most people that are that way don't know why they're not successful or getting what they want. And like you said, most people can smell someone that's not genuine a mile away. You know, so that's huge that you brought that up. Is you have to be genuine, and you can't look at people as just as a means to an end. You know, everyone is a person that's going through their own journey, and you should be there to help each other out. You know,
you got to be willing to. You know, if there's someone that's in your network, you have to be willing and want to just think like, yeah, we would have fun jamming. You know, that's kind of part of having someone on your side in your, you know, network, your quote unquote network, is like knowing that, I like that dude. That dude's cool. Yeah. You know, I want to hang with this dude. I want to jam with this dude, you know, and that's part of, you know, really getting gigs here and there.
Right.
And another thing I want to say, though, I know we're running out of time, so
no, we're good, bro.
Another thing I want to say is that, and I touched on it a little while ago, is when you find your passion or something that you love, and you kind of decide like, yes, I want to do this for my career, you know, when you get really deep into it, you are going to hate it from time to time. Yeah. And I just want to let everyone out there know that that's okay. Yeah. The same thing happened to me when I was going to MI and having to learn these different styles and being torn down, man, so I can be built back up at that school as a drummer or artist. And there was times where I hated it, and I questioned myself, really. I never really questioned my artistic or skill at that level that I did, you know, when I was there at MI. And I'm thinking,
they're challenging you.
Yeah, big time, man. And to me, like, the way I felt or what I was thinking was, I thought I loved drumming. Yeah. I do love drumming. Why do I just kind of feel like maybe I just wasn't made for this. I just straight up wasn't born to play drums, man, even though I love it. Yeah. And that's how dark I got, you know, with battling with myself. But I fought through it and said, you know what, man, this is what I want to do. Yeah. You know, don't take it so hard on yourself. Just keep going. And that's you went through the ultimate test and you succeeded. They say you can't have a testimony without being tested, you know, and that was your moment of being like, shit, am I going to do this or I'm not? And luckily you persevered and you went through it. And we talk about this a lot on our podcast. We explain what is passion, you know, and passion derives from a Latin word that translates to suffer or to endure, you know. So like the passion of Christ is, you know, the suffering of Christ. So when you have passion, it means that you're going to endure that pain and that suffering and that struggle in order to pursue your desire, you know. And we talk about this a lot too, is like, it's something that's in you, you know, and you should follow that thing that's in you, you know. So if music is your calling, keep going. You know, if painting is your calling, like, don't stop. You know, whatever your calling is, you're going to be tested. And if you quit, it means that you're right. It wasn't for you. Exactly. If you do quit, it's not for you. And that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. You know, it's all up to you. Yeah. It's all up to you. Yeah. And another thing I would say that's super important that I want, you know, aspiring musicians to hear is, and I made a YouTube video about this, is when you're on stage and you're playing, it really doesn't matter who's there, man. Yeah. It doesn't matter who's there. When you're playing and you're on that stage, it doesn't matter how crappy the stage is. It doesn't matter how small the bar is. It doesn't matter how big the arena is. Yeah. You play like it's your last show. Hell yeah. You play like you're not sure if you're even gonna make it home. There you go. You're like, man, I may never do this ever again.
Time, yeah.
Make it good. Yeah, and you know that's basically how you should approach the stage, and that's how I approach the stage. And even with that concept, and even with it coming from me, I'm not always perfect either. Like I don't always hit the stage with that same exact level of intensity.
Yeah.
But I still tell myself that every show.
Yeah.
And more times than not, I feel it, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like there could be two people that we're playing for, which I've done. And you may have witnessed it. You may have been.
I was one of the two, bro.
One out of the two people.
I was outside of the Rizzo's garage.
There you go. But you play like it's your last time, man. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, you know, you could look at it as, something may happen to me right after rehearsal or right after the show where, I don't know, you know, you lost an arm and a leg, or you got in a really severe accident on the way home, or some kind of life event that may not even affect you physically, but just, you know, you can't do what you were doing anymore.
Right.
And then you look back at it thinking, man, dude, I never even gave it my all.
Yeah.
And it's done. And it's back there, you know?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Leave it all on the table.
Leave it on the table when you get on the stage, man, and play like it's your last.
That's beautiful, man. And I respect that, and I attest to that, because that's how I try to do most things. And, you know, something that I would do a lot before hitting the stage.
Oh, wait, hold on. Do you eat hot dogs like that?
Like it's the last one I'm going to eat, bro. Everything I do, like it's the last time. Just kidding. I wish.
I'm messing with you. I'm
sorry. You're crazy, bro. But, I create rituals, you know, to try to get to a certain state, depending on what I'm doing. So, you know, I kind of created not an alter ego, but it's definitely me. It's just an accentuated part of who I am whenever I'm doing certain things. Like I don't, you know, when I'm on stage, it's like an amped up version of myself, you know, or when I'm like on a sales presentation, I'm like a different version of myself. Or if I'm like, you know, talking to a group of friends, or I'm talking to a female, or I'm talking to whatever, it's all who I am, but I create certain rituals to get me into a certain state depending on what I'm trying to accomplish, you know, what I'm trying to showcase, you know. So do you still get nervous when you play?
I'd say no. I'd say I got more nervous sitting right here in front of this microphone more than playing in front of 30,000 people. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And it is what it is. I can't.
Probably because you're not talking, huh?
Yeah, because I don't have to open my mouth for anything. I don't have to say a word.
You put on the zebra hat or the zebra suit.
The zebra mask and
you're good to go. You don't even know who you are.
Exactly. But you know what though? I think when we first started playing live, I felt nervous, but it was more, it more manifested into just sheer excitement. Yeah. You know, I know little Aaron, he would get nervous, and like it didn't morph into anything else. It was more like he would shake and be like, ugh. And I think it got better for him a little, but yeah, for me, it would just, I knew I needed to use that.
Yeah. It's an energy.
I know I needed to use it constructively. So I guess my mind made it, you know, manifest into just the energy instead of being nervous, you know?
Yeah. And words are important, you know, because like you said, it was excitement. Yeah. Nervousness, excitement is the same thing, you know,
basically.
It's a feeling.
Yeah.
But one has a negative connotation and one doesn't, you know? So by doing those little tricks to your own brain, allowed you to relax and not get to that point where you're shaking and messing up, you know, and not, more than anything, you're not enjoying yourself. Because when you're nervous, you want to get out of that situation. But when you're excited, you want to stay in it. You know?
Yeah, man.
So you got to use your mind to control your emotions and transmute them into something positive, you know, because you can easily go down this loop of negativity and you end up somewhere where you really don't want to go. And that's what we call, like, you know, you see a comedian just bomb. You're like, oh God, he got too nervous and that's horrible.
That's painful to watch.
Yeah, so
too,
bad,
man.
Bro. And then same thing with musicians. Like when you see them just like oh, dude, this is fucking horrible. And he's just getting worse. And people are like, what the hell? Like, oh my God, it's embarrassing.
Yeah. But you know what? A lot of times, like the guitarists and bassists and singers, they can all kind of get away with it. But if, I
get away all the time.
I know.
But the drummer, you can't get away with.
Oh, dude, if the drummer messes up, oh my God. Because, that's like the train.
I'm like, turn up that gain.
Yeah. So that's like the train. Not to say that everyone else doesn't have an important role, but you're basically the train conductor. You know what I mean? And if you fall off that track, man, everyone falls with you.
Yeah.
So, but another tip I would give kids or youngsters out there, keep in mind I'm not so young anymore. I would say to the youngsters, if that whole mindset of pretending like it's or thinking that it could be your last show and playing in that fashion, sometimes people are just too nervous and they can't get to that state of mind. Another trick would be, before you even look at the crowd or whatever, I mean, maybe you've already got to look at the crowd and you get a little nervous. When you get on stage, stop looking at the crowd.
Yeah.
Look at your instrument and pretend you're at rehearsal.
Huh.
And I've done that before.
And that really helped.
Yeah. Like for real. That's not like a, I don't know what you would call it. That all I can say is it worked. I was able to focus, and after a while, that whole nervousness of seeing all those people kind of just muted itself.
Yeah.
It's almost as if the crowd was muted.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's another useful tip that youngsters can use, know, if the other mindset.
I wish I had that when I was playing, bro. I would get all nervous and shit. I remember the worst choke I had was we were playing at the House of Blues in Hollywood before they closed it, and I don't know why I was playing in a progressive metal band. We opened up for like this amazing jazz band, and I was just looking at their drummer and like, he's a bazillion times better than me. And the whole crowd was like nothing but like jazz lovers. Oh, and I was like, why the fuck? Why would they put us like after these guys? I'm like, they're gonna hate us, And I'm like, I'm not as good as that guy. And I just kept on like in my head, like, and at this show, they didn't let me use my drums. They said you could only use your cymbals, and you could bring your double pedal, but you have to use our kit because it's all mic'd up. And I was like, I wasn't comfortable with the drum set. I'm playing with this after this jazz band with their crowd. I was so much in my head that I totally like screwed it up.
I hear you.
I totally screwed it up. But I got comfortable like after the first one, like, screw it, or it's already screwed. So let's just enjoy the process of this.
Yeah, man. And that's another magic moment where your brain just says, the hell with it, man. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
I think I want to tell a short story with Jambi, and it really has to do with not giving up. Yeah. You got to have that perseverance if you're doing something that brings you joy in life. Yeah. So and one example is for me drumming for Jambi. Yeah. I was one of the, or I am one of the main
founder, bro.
One of the main founders, and one of the main writers. So
right.
We were playing a show at Showcase Theater in Corona. Which rest in peace as well, right?
I saw you guys play there.
I'm sure. Yeah. I remember, we played plenty of shows there. So one day we got thrown on a bill.
Was it Corona or was it San Bernardino? It was Corona, right?
Corona.
Yeah.
Corona. But that I think that's San Bernardino County still.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, we played a show at Showcase Theater. We got thrown on a bill with like these death metal bands. Yeah. Jambi's not a death metal band.
Right.
We may be somewhat extreme in.
You guys are metal, but you're not death metal.
Yeah, but we're not a death metal band, so it's not just complete, blast beats and big squeals, right?
Yeah.
Which I love, but that's not us. So anyway, we play the show. We get heckled here and there, and it's fun. Like, I'm laughing. Yeah. It's funny, we usually do stuff sometimes, or did do stuff sometimes, to piss people off in the crowd.
Yeah.
But in this instance, we were just playing our set and people were getting pissed, which was great. It was funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, at the end of the show, we're kind of tripping out. We're out in the back parking lot because once you load out off the stage, once you go out the back door there at the Showcase, you're in the literal parking lot right there.
Yeah.
So we're out in the back parking lot, and I have this stack of demos that we made. That we burned, right? Like burnt CDs.
I remember those burnt CDs.
Yeah, man.
I think I still have some of those Jambi burnt CDs somewhere.
That's badass. I don't think I do. But anyway, it's like a blank disc that says Jambi EP with like Sharpie on it, just passing them out. And I didn't care that we weren't received well that night. So I still felt inclined to pass demos out.
Yeah.
So I'm walking around,
You're like, here.
passing out demos, and I come right head on straight into this guy, and because I'm kind of looking down at the CD. So as soon as I stop and look up, he stops and looks up, and then I look down at my CDs and grab a CD and I hand it to him.
Right.
And he takes it and he looks at it and looks at me and goes, bam, and just throws it on the floor and stomps on it.
Oh my God. That would have been a fight for me.
And then I'm looking at him and looking down at the CD and looking at him, and I go,
another one?
Give him another one. And he does it again. He stomps
oh my
it.
God.
Like, oh my God. I give him another one and he did it again. And then by like the fourth one,
he
just took it and walked away. I'm like, all right, man.
I got one.
Go.
Like, make sure you listen to that. So you want me to sign it?
So that's just another example of, hey, man, do what you do. And when you have a product or you have something that represents your art and what you do, it doesn't matter if people don't like it. There are going to be people that crap on it and are going to try and tear you down. Who cares?
Dude, that's so huge, because people are discouraged so easily.
Yeah.
They're discouraged so easily. And unfortunately, the first heckler, the first person that, tells them you suck, or tells them like, they stop their growth and their evolution. And, I'm sure John B, I know it, you guys continue to write music, you continue to get better. And then, it led to your growth into where you're at now.
I don't know if we're getting better, but but we're still here.
We're here. But my point is, having thick skin is going to lead you a long way in your path, especially in business or in any type of thing that requires talent and skill set. Like you're gonna get heckled, you're gonna get ridiculed.
And another thing about the thick skin is, if you decide to have thick skin, you can't just put it on. That's also a process. So don't don't be too hard on yourself when you decide, or you're listening to this and you say, you know what? Yeah, I need to have thicker skin. And you go out there and you get shot down with something, and then you're like, oh God, I thought I had thicker skin. Well, you don't. You just know that you need it. So you need to keep going, and your skin gets thicker, each time you get a door slammed in your face, or someone talks
like a callus,
some shit on your music. Yeah, it's like a callus. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's thick skin. That's the calluses right there, bro, from lifting heavy ass weights.
Yes. So,
most drummers, let's say they go to Musicians Institute, their goal is either to make their band famous or to join a famous band, and the Dickies is a world famous punk band. Damn, they've been around for a really long time now that I think about it, huh?
They've been around longer than I've been on this earth.
Yeah, and they're old.
I'm 40. I turned 40 last week. So
they started playing like in the 70s or something?
Yeah. So basically they started in 77. So that's kind of like the official, EST year.
Yeah.
But I think that when they put out their full length, that was 79 with A&M Records. But they basically started in 77 as a band together. And like I said, they've been
around for a long time.
Their band, the entity, has been around longer than I've been.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they have a huge following, a huge fan base. And are you guys releasing any new albums or anything?
Yes. So from what Leonard, the singer, says, we're on on the Dickies' last album.
Really?
So from what from what he feels and from what he views, this is the last Dickies record.
Oh, okay. He's ready to retire.
He's ready to put recording, to rest.
Okay.
Dig a grave, throw it in. And
one of the questions I wanted to ask you is like, where's the money in music nowadays? Like, where do you guys make most of your money?
We make it from different spots depending on the member that you're talking to.
Oh, so it's different.
For me. Yeah. For me, I'm not, I didn't write any of those songs.
Yeah.
I'm not
you don't get royalties.
A shareholder of any of the labels that own the older records.
Yeah.
I don't get royalties in that sense. So
okay.
I make all my money with touring and shows with them, but and recording too.
Right.
And recording as well.
So when it comes to recording, do you write the drum tracks, or do they already have that written for you?
It's a mix. It's a mix, because we've done some songs to where they've had shelved themselves for some years because they knew it was going to be part of a new record. I see. And they had demo versions already with the previous drummer.
Yeah.
And for me, if they had already solidified the basic idea with the other drummer, I don't deviate from it unless they give me liberty to do so.
Yeah. Do you get writing credits on the new ones that you actually write?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, let's say this: drummers really don't get writing credit.
Dang.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't get writing
That's
credit.
true. As a guitar player, I tell the drummer what to do.
Yeah. And even if the guys don't tell me what to do and I make it, it's you don't get writing credits for drum tabs or drum, tablature or
Really?
or
I didn't know
transcriptions.
that.
I mean, as far as I know, unless I put out a book, and copyright the book itself.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a different story. But
Right.
that's not really how it goes. But obviously, I'm when you look at the 7 inches that we've put out so far, it's like there's my picture, there's my name, Adam.
Yeah.
Go Gomez on drums, and it's official. It's real. So, but I don't make money in that sense as far as monetizing or royalties.
Yeah. So you don't get like their Spotify
no.
listens or
no. And I think it depends who actually owns the rights to those particular
so they
albums.
don't even get it.
So Stan and Leonard, the original guys, they may get some here and there depending on which album they're. I don't know
what their contract was when
I don't
they
really know.
signed back then too.
Yeah, that's their deal. I'm not an original member, so I don't ask about it. It's not. I don't know. That's their thing.
So then it would be your studio sessions that you get paid for, and then the touring and the live shows.
Yeah, and then
the majority of your
even income. With merch, like when we're on tour, if we're doing well with merch, sometimes a percentage of the merch gets thrown into the pot as far as our, as far as the revenue and as far as what we make. So yeah, I mean somewhat with the merch. But again, not royalty-wise, just what we physically sell, Yeah.
Do you think financially it makes more sense for bands to tour the United States or Europe? I mean, I guess it depends on the band, huh? Where they're more popular.
I guess so, but I would say when it comes to that, the key or the this versus that would be, like let's say we're only talking about U.S. touring, right?
Yeah.
And you live in LA, but your tour starts in Georgia or New York or in the Midwest.
Yeah.
If you started your tour where you live first, that's the best option. And why? Because if you start a tour out, a few states away or on the other side of the U.S., you have to pay for the airfare.
Yeah.
And you have to pay for all those expenses just to get there and start. If you start from from where you live, you've already got your van. You've got your tour bus, tour van, or whatever. Everything you start there, so you're not using it. You're not spending anything extra just to get to your starting point.
Right.
So that's first off.
And when you fly, do you have to ship your drums?
No, I mean some people do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that because that's expensive.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Damn,
that would come out of my pocket, I'm sure.
So or you have a house drum set that you use or something?
Yeah, well, my house drum set I also use for all our local shows, and that's a Yamaha Tour Custom.
Yeah. Promote it, bro.
It's a Yamaha Tour Custom. It's got the Remo skins, and I'm always using Vader. It's got the natural wood finish.
Oh, okay.
So I hit up Fangoria. I don't know if you know what Fangoria is. That's an old 80s, 90s horror movie magazine. Okay. And I think they may still be doing physical print, but they're online now. Yeah. And I was talking with them and I told them, hey, my last Yamaha kit was green.
Yeah.
And I called it the Exorcist, because because of the green puke in the movie, right? Yeah. When Reagan throws up. But I have this new kit now that Yamaha gifted me, and it's got this natural, wood finish to it, this natural tone.
Yeah.
And they decided to call it Buffalo Bill. And Buffalo Bill, if you remember, is a character from Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. It puts the lotion on its skin.
Exactly. So he's
the one. Bro, my name's Hannibal, like Hannibal.
There you go.
That's actually my line to everybody because they're like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "It's Hannibal, like Hannibal without the H." I don't eat people.
So you're Hannibal the cannibal.
Yeah, I just know
you don't. Yeah. There you go. So, yeah. So that Yamaha kit got dubbed Buffalo Bill by Fangoria.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that because I love horror movies.
That's really what I was going to say. You're super into horror movies. And I know you have a YouTube channel that you do the playthroughs, or what do you call them? The
Drum through drive-in. So I just call them drum throughs.
Drum throughs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. People call, some of those videos drum throughs, depending on who you talk to, but I just labeled mine drum through drive-in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you talk about horror films or anything like that?
You know what? I kind of started to. What I started to do was at the beginning of the videos, I actually kind of speak for a second and I throw out a trivia question. Yeah. So I throw out this song was came out or was released, this month and this year.
Yeah.
What was the highest grossing horror movie of that month and that year?
Oh, there you
Find
go.
out at the end of the video.
Yeah.
And as the video goes on, when it gets near the end, I'll kind of throw
Little
the
hints.
answer up there.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. You should throw hints in between, like little clips of the movie, bro.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be
Well, the
pretty
clips
cool.
would give it away for sure.
That's true.
But if I maybe put in a couple,
Well, not
quotes,
everybody, because that's true. Yeah.
Well,
I guess it depends on how avid of a horror film
Yeah.
fan you are. You know?
That's true. But I would say, like, my growing audience is going to be basically kind of inclined to be in that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I guess you can say, because I am. So eventually, that's how it's going to gravitate.
It's a huge scene. Not only the punk rock scene, but the whole horror film scene.
Yeah, yeah. And I've been trying to dig deeper into it.
Bro, Rob Zombie made that really popular.
yeah. That was his thing too. For a long time.
Into it. But I mean, he became even a producer and a writer and director. And
that's great.
That's what's cool about having a passion for multiple things. Like you have like your goose that lays a golden egg. Like that's my main thing. That's where I make my income from. And that's what allows me to pursue other paths that I have, like music has never left my spirit. I go to concerts all the time. Like whenever you see me, I have headphones on. Like I literally have like my earbuds on like 90% of the day. And I'm always listening to music or listening to some kind of podcast or something that I'm interested in. And that leads me to different paths, So, that's cool that you can have multiple assets to your personality. You're not just stuck on one thing. Like all I do is I just listen to punk and I play punk music and that's it.
Yeah.
Like you're well-rounded, and you could communicate with multiple people. You can, depending on who your audience, you could calibrate your communication to your audience, and I see that in you, because like I mentioned, anyone that I've ever talked about you, they like you. You're a likable person. And we were just talking about this on the last podcast. I was telling my co-host, the first book I ever read on self-help and development was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, which is a super old book that literally just teaches you how not to be an asshole, how to be likable.
That's
and,
useful.
Yeah. How to win friends and influence people. And like you said, everyone leads you to something else, and then the next stepping stone in your life, and who knows what's to come. We're still growing, we're still evolving, and I'm sure I'm going to be seeing a lot more come from you. Who knows what's next after the Dickies, but I really want to thank you, man, for coming out on the podcast. We definitely have to have you come on again sometime in the future to see what's next and what's going on in your life.
I'm down. Yeah.
I want to introduce you to my co-host. He's got some really a unique way of thinking, and he comes up with questions that I didn't even think about that are very interesting. So I definitely want to introduce him to you. And so is there anything else you kind of want to leave to our audience or to any of your fans that are here, watching this podcast? Any advice that you would give to an aspiring musician out there?
Aside from like the points that I brought up, I guess I would say, and this has to do with what you were just talking about. Be okay with doing other things on the side. Don't get so don't drown yourself in the dream of being a rock star so much.
Yeah.
Think about your dream actually being just having fun when you're doing what you're doing. Even for me, like I'm always working, man. Always. Yeah. If I'm on tour working. When I come home from tour, guess what? I don't just hang out at home and like, have coffee in the back porch every morning. I go back to work. Yeah. I'm working. I'm always working. Yeah. And even when I'm working, a normal job, I'm still looking for other things that I can do music wise since I'm home. Well, what kind of music stuff can I find on the weekend?
Yeah.
To add to my plate. You know what I mean? So, if you're doing that as a growing musician or aspiring musician, don't think that you're going down the wrong path, because you got to do that. Yeah. Most of us don't like money. I don't like money. I don't care about money. Yeah. But we need it to necessity. To live and to sustain, you know what I mean? Yeah. And when it comes to money, I can care less, dude. If my dream was to just have tons of money from making music, yeah, I'd always be thinking about the money. And think about this for a second. If all you can think about is green, dirty paper bills, yeah, how does that fill anything within you? How do you find any value in, at the end of it, looking at these pieces of green paper and saying, wow, this is what I was chasing the whole time.
Yeah.
There's no value in that. You know what I mean? So you have to have the mindset of, you don't have to be like me. I may be a little drastic when I say I don't like money, but it's true. I don't. You know, everything I make, like, even most of the my paycheck from my day job, I don't even keep. I just give it mostly just to my wife, man. I just hand it over to her.
Here you go.
She pays the bills anyway. She's the one that gets on the laptop and pays the bills. So I'm like, here you go. I'll keep only so much to pay my phone bill and to make sure I have gas and pick up some food here and there, for dinner time. And that's it. And then all my show money, I don't put it away for myself. We put it away for my daughter as extra cash and to build that. So then when she's old enough to maybe choose a college or something like that, she's got something like that, or different options. I think of different things that are going to be for her.
If she wants to go to the Musicians Institute,
yeah, you know what I mean.
You're like, damn, I got to pay 2 of these now.
God damn it! But what I'm saying is, don't be in it for the money. Yeah, we'd all like to make plenty of money doing what we love. That's fine. I'm not saying don't feel that way. That's perfectly fine. But if you're always chasing that dollar bill, there's no meaning to that. There's no value.
Yeah.
And just merely thinking about that concept makes me feel hollow.
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone to go down that road. If you want to, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally up to you.
I'm sure once they invest thousands of dollars into their instruments and, have a show and nobody shows up, they'll be like, there's no money in this. Exactly. So you have to kind of like realize, okay, maybe I'll make money on, off of this stuff eventually, but you got to work your way to that. Yeah. And don't be afraid, of not making money for a while. Yeah. Just don't be afraid. Don't give a shit about money so much. Yeah.
Only see it as your, as a necessity, and that's it,
Yeah, I think most artists understand that concept that you're talking about. It's the art. The art comes first, and I think people do get compensated for their skill set once they have, like quote unquote, paid their dues. Just like in comedy, comedians, they do all these open mics pretty much for free, or they pay out of their own pocket. They travel all over. They pay out of their own pocket to rent these hotels to be at the show. And after years and years of honing their skill and crafting it and finally putting together a set that, gets an audience, and like after many failed attempts and, hurdles, and then boom, they make it, and then the financial accolades are just, a result of their hard work and talent that they have developed. Yeah. But they wouldn't have been able to do that if they didn't have that passion that we talked about, and that understanding that, I'm not doing this just for the dollar. I'm doing this because it's what I believe in, and I feel this is going to fulfill me, and it's my path in my life. Yeah. And that's huge, man. So thank you for that.
And in addition, I will take that money.
Yeah, give me all my money.
That's okay.
That money.
That's okay. But
you don't like money? Well, let me have yours.
Yeah, give it to me, bro. I'm good with that. Yeah. But and the thing is that influence and inspiring someone has so much value, at least to me. And I know most musicians, they're like, musicians get flattered when you tell them stuff like that. Yeah. But it's because it means so much, man. Because we know that feeling. Because like you said, we were inspired by somebody, and then you go, that person goes along on that journey and they inspire other people below them. And when they know they they know that feeling, and that means so much, because you can do so much with that. Yeah. You can do so much with that inspiration. You don't even have, like, if someone was inspired by me because of what I do at drums, I wouldn't even necessarily expect them to do drums, to take up drums. They might be inspired by me because of what I do, but then they have their own idea of what they want to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that means so much. And I say that more so now from the point of view of a dad and a father. You know what I mean? Like,
because I'm sure your daughter looks up to you, and
I hope so. But the thing is that I don't want to force her to be, some drum virtuoso or for that to be her thing. Yeah. I just want her to see that her father does something that he loves and that he has a passion for, and it brings him joy. Yeah. And it brings on, good, intense feelings of being alive, and and you don't have to only get it from your passion, but I want her to be able to see that. Yeah. So then when she grows up, she'll know that she can find hers. Yeah.
That's huge, man. That's beautiful. Yeah. Well, thank you again, man. And I know you have, tell us where we can find you. I know you got your YouTube channel. Definitely guys go out there and follow. What's the name of the page?
So that is called Drum Through Drive-In. Awesome. And you spell drum through kind of like drive through, like at In-N-Out, and you see the through spelled like THRU, right? Yeah. THRU, like drum through drive-in. So for me, that's like my main driver right now. That's the thing that I'm like hammering away with a buddy of mine, Billy Skelly, and he does the editing and all that stuff. Looks great, man. Thank you. Yeah, he does all that stuff.
Me knowing how long it takes to do the editing and the filming and all that, it takes time, and he's good.
Yeah, he's good, and he's a great dude, and he's been helping with that. So mainly that's what I've been working on my own.
Yeah.
So you can find me there on Drum Through Drive-In. The Instagram is Adam Gomez, and Gomez is spelled GOM3Z instead of an
Perfect. We'll make sure to tag all of your social media on the YouTube channel and on all the clips that we'll be putting out. And I know that Dickies has a show coming up on July 23rd. You guys are going to be in Venice, California. What's the name of the venue?
I believe it's called the Venice West.
That's right, the Venice West in Venice, California. So if you guys are in the area, want to come check out an awesome show and check out Adam on the drums, he'll be in Venice, California on July 23rd. You guys can go online and purchase those tickets. Again, brother, thank you so much for coming on. You guys out there, make sure you follow, subscribe our YouTube channel, and we'll see you guys next time.